Hi, this is Rich Dahman, Superintendent with Winona Area Public Schools, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Making the Grade. We're going to talk today about Winona Senior High School's Work Experience Program, and we have two guests with us. Patty Darbo is a work experience teacher with the school district, and Chris Kwolek is a senior at Winona Senior High Schools, and it's always great to have students with us on Making the Grade. So welcome to both of you, and thanks for joining us today. Patty, I think we'll have you start. If you can give a little background information about yourself, how long you've been with the school district, and what is it that you do with the school district?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us today. We're very glad to be here. I am Patty Darbo. I am the work-based learning teacher and a special education teacher at Winona Senior High. I have been there for 12 years, or actually almost 13. And my focus is helping students who have a little bit of a learning difference or a greater difference, help them figure out how to navigate the world with that disability, how to be as successful as possible. I focus mainly on the work and getting employment and transitioning from high school to adulthood. To get a job, we help them with finding their first jobs. I have a team of people, wonderful coaches and drivers, that we get kids to their places of employment in the community and help them land jobs mainly in service industry, laundry, food service, child care, entry-level type jobs, just to get that experience of showing up every day, having the work discipline, the attitudes, the respect, safety. We focus on a lot of those kind of issues, so when they grow and get older, they already understand those important elements so that they are safe and can have a nice long working career.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, and we're going to give you a chance to share some more about that work experience program. But I want to hear a little bit from Chris. Chris, can you share a little bit more about yourself and what you're doing at Winona Senior High School?
So I'm Chris Kwolek. I'm a senior this year, and like you said, I'm in the work experience program. I'm working at the steak shop. What I'm usually doing is like washing dishes or doing food prep. And
Excellent. Yeah, thank you, Chris. Patty, can you share some types of initiatives that help students be successful in the program?
I'll be glad to. This is kind of an exciting, busy time at school, as you all know, with educators and students alike. We're all very busy finishing up the year. But in April, we have something called a Work Skills Challenge. It's our third annual one that we've actually, Mindy Renardi, she's, kudos to her because she and I ran up to north of the Twin Cities. There was a 40-plus year program that had been in place called the Work Skills Challenge. We observed it, thought that it would be valuable down in the Region 10 area. And a team of us went up there, and Mindy's done a lot of the work this year to make that happen. Next week, on Wednesday, the 25th of April, we're bringing a team of 22 students from Winona Senior High to compete at it.
Oh, great.
And the competition is a little unusual. It's application writing, mock interviewing, general work skills knowledge. All of the students had to prepare a resume, and they had to just really practice on what it means to get a job and retain a job, so we've been doing a lot of prep work for that kind of things. And at the event, there's a keynote speaker. He talks on perseverance. There is lunch, there's prizes, there's networking with other students and professionals, helping students. All these people are invested in wanting to help students become better at being quality employees and somebody that a business would want to hire and retain. And so that day will be a lot of fun. And another cool thing at it is Chris will be able to, and he's one of many that are there, get a certificate from the governor that actually has the official seal and signed by Mark Dayton, saying that he's taking part in the third annual Work Skills Challenge. And two of our students last year who participated actually were award winners. One took second, Jesse Bauman took second in interviewing, and Andrew Kapusman took third in application writing. And so they won a nice award as well. And so we like to think that this prepares students to the actual process of getting a job, but the actual work skills knowledge part talks about safety and all the pieces that maybe a lot of people don't really understand. Like, how much should you lift? You know, what is safe, and what age can you do these things, and how do you respectfully talk to your boss if perhaps something doesn't seem quite right to you? You know, all these different steps, because we believe in, well, in the one area public schools in general, that everybody has an opportunity to learn and grow to be the best that you can be. So my focus as a work experience coordinator, I'm trying to help them really understand that they have rights and responsibilities, and that you can truly become successful, and you can learn some of these things now that carry you well into the adult time. So we're gonna have fun at that next week. So that's one of the big initiatives right now. And there are 3 of them. About 180 kids go in this in the Region 10 area. Rushford is the one we're attending next Wednesday, and then this week there were one at Northfield and another at Austin. So quite a bit going on with that.
Great. That sounds like a very valuable statewide partnership, and both statewide and in the region at some of the region schools. I know that we also have some local community partners and some things that we do locally. Can you share a little bit about some of our community partnerships here in Winona and in our surrounding communities?
Well, thank you for asking that, because we do have a lot of quality people in this town, and they're invested in our students, and they want to help, and it's really neat to see, because I don't have a hard sell when I come into a door and say, would you please, we have this student who's potentially interested in your business, would you like to let them come in? So we team up with our employers, of course, where we have 50 plus that are interested in us. Minnesota Workforce Center, Josh Pletz there has been instrumental in helping the kids, being a mentor, helping them prepare for some of these work days. Also, Express Employment Personnel has teamed up. It's brand new this year, and we're one of the first in the state that we've done all the paperwork for someone like Chris, who is a senior, if you don't mind me using his example, and all his paperwork's ready, so when he does turn 18 and he's already working and getting payroll through them, and then when he wants to move to another job, maybe more of his interest area, long term, they are in place and ready to work with him and team with him. So that's beautiful. We have a board of directors, we have youth committees, county transition interagency committees, and I'm involved statewide in some Monacaney SNP, which is career and tech ed for special needs personnel, and it's kind of a statewide thing that I'm involved with to make sure we're doing everything legally the correct way.
Well, that's excellent. It sounds like a big part of your job is working directly with the students, but also a lot of coordination with different community groups and making sure that everything is organized and ready to go for the students.
Right. We have to be, because we need to keep everything legal, and there is a process, and we need to follow the state mandates, but also we really need these relationships with people, or if the kids are just sitting in the school, they're not going to learn how to work in the community. And so we develop these relationships. These people are good people.
Yeah, excellent. Chris, I want to hear a little bit from you about that transition to life after high school that Patty talked about, and how important it is to help build those skills. How do you feel that the work experience class and Teens to Work has benefited you and helped you be ready for a career?
Well, I think that the work experience program and the Teens at Work class have really helped me with things like writing a resume, good interviewing, how to do an application, and even helped me with like building up like connections with people, because we'll have speakers come in and they'll tell us about like what they do and what services they can provide. And also with Steak Shop, I'm getting some experience there and getting a reputation out there, showing that I'm a good worker. I know what I'm doing. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, that's great to hear, and those are really important skills moving forward. You had mentioned Steak Shop. How long have you been working with Steak Shop?
I think it was about September of last year.
Oh, okay. So you've been there for a while then. Yeah. All right, excellent. What do you see as goals for yourself, both through this program and overall as a student? What are some goals that you have?
Some goals I'd like to do is go to Southeast Tech, get start getting enrolled in there, find something I'd like to do, maybe something with computers, networking, something like that, and then hopefully find a job related to that. It's a big goal of mine.
Yeah, excellent.
That's one of the neat things about him. Because he is under 18, he doesn't get to work in some of the computer placements, or we would have done that already, but he has to wait till he gets to be that
18.
age. And so that nice relationship with Express personnel, that they are able to bridge that when he gets to be 18. He'll already be in place with them to help him connect with the people. Once he's left our door and transitioned to adulthood, he will have that opportunity.
Right. Yeah, and Patty, what goals do you have for the program overall, for the work experience program?
Thanks for asking. Actually, I'd love to have more students. We have we are very busy. You know, I keep myself plenty busy, but we have about anywhere between 25 and 28 job placements right now, and always wanting to help students become more career ready. So when they leave here, they really have a kind of a focus of where they're going, what they're doing. As for all students, we want that, but of course, students who have just maybe a little bit of a learning difference, empowering them to own that, to be okay with whatever is their difficult spot, and to go forward. And so if we can help them with that, I'd like to also, we kind of have an untapped workforce that I'd like the community to know about more. That we have students like Chris, amazing kids, very capable. Maybe just we all have something to work on, and as a team we can work it out together. And businesses, the long run, can find employees who can be very capable and helpful for a long time to come.
So it can be very much a win-win, not
Right.
not just building skills in our students and giving
Right.
them experiences, but also providing a great service for different businesses
Yeah.
in our community.
I think as educators, we have a responsibility to meet our kids where they're at and try to bring them to their greatest potential. And in the area of employment, that's what I try to do. You know, we do the best we can, and but we certainly have good stuff to work with, and so it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I think you worded that really well. We want to prepare all of our students for what the rest of their life will be like, and help them develop those skills that are gonna help them be successful in whatever they do, and challenge them to become the best that they can be. So
Right.
that's great to hear that this program is working so well. We just have a little bit of time left. In closing, is there anything else that either of you would like to share about the program?
You have anything?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, I just want to say that it's a privilege to do the job that I do, because I'm in and out of the building trying to assist kids in real life work situations, and we have a great administration that understand that, and I think as a team overall, we are trying to make a difference in people's lives, and that's what my day looks like, and I'm just happy to do it.
Wonderful. Well, I want to thank both of you, both Chris and Patty, for joining us
Thank you.
today and for sharing information about this important program. So thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
No problem.
And we will be right back with the next segment, which will be Principal Mark Anderson from Winona Senior High School sharing information about school safety programs.
Elevate your HBC TV experience with the latest technology to hit your whole home entertainment system. Record up to 6 programs simultaneously and save up to 350 hours of your favorite shows. Pause a program you're watching in one room and pick right up where you left off in another. Video on demand, wireless set-top boxes and mobile device streaming, apps including Alexa, Netflix, YouTube, and more. Call 888-474-9995 to learn more, or visit hbci.com/elevate today.
Perfect.
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 Getting the right look at the right price
Perfect.
is always in style. At Cost Cutters.
Located in the professional building in the Winona Mall, 507-454-6030.
Cost Cutters is your family's full-service salon specializing in cuts, colors, and curls. Visit any one of our professional stylists today and get the look you want for less.
Welcome back to another edition of Making the Grade. This is Winona Area Public Schools Superintendent Rich Dahman, and we have joining us today Winona Senior High School Principal Mark Anderson. Welcome, Mark, and thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
We're going to talk a little bit about school safety, which is a vitally important topic for us with Winona Area Public Schools. So, Mark, do you want to start by just introducing yourself and share a little bit about how long you've been with Winona Area Public Schools and what your current role is?
Okay, I've been with Winona for 12 years. I started as assistant principal back in the day at the high school, moved to the middle school for 5 years, and now I'm back at the high school as a high school principal.
Excellent. As I mentioned, we're going to be talking about school safety, and safety has always been and continues to be a top priority for Winona Area Public Schools. Can you share a little bit about safety training that staff members have had?
Okay. Last year in about November, December, we went out to be trained in Alice, and about 20 of us from the district went, elementary, middle school, and high school. We had staff at the high school go, and one of the things we learned, the interesting pieces was we've always gone lockdown. You hide in a corner and you hope and pray that you're safe by the end of the time. And what we found was that's not the best way to do it anymore. And in the training for Alice, they used the letters each mean something. Alice, we want to alert, we want to lock down, we want to inform, counter only if needed, and evacuate. So what we've learned from that in that training, what we brought back is we had an hour presentation with our officer and our assistant principal and myself, and we talked about how we're going to change, not just going into lockdown, but it's important for us to continually let staff and students know and inform them what's happening in the building. So if there's an intruder in the building, what are you going to do? And we started talking about, so when we give the information, you need to take that information and make a decision as an adult and a student. What are you going to do? Are you staying in? Are you going to keep the door locked? Are you going to barricade it? Are you in a place in the building where you can actually take off and run and go to a safe place? And those are hard decisions to make. And we had to have those conversations, and you always have, you move from one process to another, and then you come back and we have a lot of questions. Well, what if? And you can't answer those what ifs. What if is you have to make that decision when it happens.
So it sounds like that Alice method provides more leeway for staff members rather than a prescribed lock your door, move away from any doors or windows, and gives them a leeway that if they have information about a dangerous situation in the school and in their professional judgment they feel that it's safer to evacuate, they have the ability to make that decision.
Absolutely, and no decision they make is wrong. That was one of the things we learned too, is you have to make a decision, and no matter which one you make, do it in the best way you can. And that was the biggest piece for our teachers to hear, is it's okay to make a decision. And ideally what we want to do is when we have that information is to, if you have the ability to get out of the building, to leave, to go to safety, and then we'll make sure we find out where you're at and things like that. And we've talked about safe places and such.
And you said that there's a number of district staff members throughout the district at elementary, middle, and high school that have gone through this training. How are they then bringing that back to get that information to the rest of the staff?
I know last year we sent out a message to our parents that we had staff trained in it, and we're going to be working more towards Alice opportunities. It's a little different at the elementary because you have a different group of kids. You got to be a little softer with the information you give. The high school, we're pretty open and honest with our kids. You know, they're close to adulthood. When we came back, we gave that information to them, and what we've done is done some trainings with a video just this last month for our workshop day. And the other piece we've done is we've actually, when we do lockdowns now, we actually we ask for a lockdown, and then we give out information on the intercom on, here's a situation that may be happening. If this person was in this area, take the next 5 or 10 minutes and talk about what would you do.
So when your school has a drill and is practicing this, there's some scenarios, and you talk about how they would react to different specific situations?
Absolutely, and we try to make sure that they're not always during class time. We did one during passing time last time, which we can never tell when this may happen. And we had kids kind of in a daze, like, what do I do? Which is good for us to do because it gives us the opportunity to bring them in a group and talk to them about, when you hear this, you have to make a decision.
Yeah, it's certainly true that a lockdown, if we have to go into a lockdown because of an intruder in the school or for other reasons too, it's much easier to do that and much smoother process if students are already in class, but we also know that many times during the day students are in the lunchroom over the noon hour, or they're coming and going from class. They may be outside with a Phy Ed class at times. So we do have to take into account all of those different possibilities, don't we?
Absolutely, and I will say this, our teachers and students have been amazing when we've done this, because We talked about doing ones on different times and be prepared. Like, I'll let the staff know we're having one this week, just not telling you when. And they've done a really nice job really making sure they get out in the hallways, gather as many kids as they can before they lock their doors. And then obviously we have plans with safety specialists and myself going out and making sure we sweep hallways to get kids in safe places.
Yeah, excellent. I know that school safety has really been on the forefront of people's minds, especially lately, with the increased frequency of shootings in schools across the country, the recent horrible tragedy in Parkland, Florida. And I know that in March our students had a walkout as a memorial for the victims in Parkland. Can you share a little bit about what that planning process looked like and what that event looked like at Winona Senior High School?
I can. One of the things that happened, it was very interesting. Wasn't our upperclassmen that came to me? We had some freshmen and sophomores come that had met with teachers to talk about what they could possibly do on a national walkout day. They were given some information by teachers, making sure that they were prepared when they came to talk to me about some things they might want to do. They set a meeting up. We sat down for about 15, 20 minutes. They wanted to be part of the national walkout. They wanted to make sure that if they did, what kind of consequences might they get if they were out? What would I be looking to do in that situation? And kind of come to an agreement on that I couldn't support them walking out of the school, but I would certainly work with them on doing things because I wanted them to have a voice, and it's a very important thing at our high school. They had came with a really good plan. They talked about if we only do it from 10 to 10:25, we're in and out, we stay on campus, what kind of consequences will you have for us? I said, I won't have any consequences. I appreciate you being forward thinking on this, coming and talking to me about this. As long as you stay on campus, you go out, we'll make sure we have a few adults out there, make sure in case someone's upset or angry and has a different view that we're there to just take care of that situation. We had about 300 kids walk out that day and support, and some of our students read out names of students that were killed in the shooting in Florida, and our students did some silent moments out there, and I really thought it was an amazing thing from our kids. It's really great to see kids take the lead on things and come and voice their concerns and stand up for what they believe is right.
And I think my viewpoint on that is that the students, both our students and students across the country, are the people who are affected by these school shootings, and it's put us in a situation where people have some fear about sitting in a classroom and getting an education, and it's an unfortunate place where we are as a society, and we want to make sure we're doing everything to create a safe atmosphere for our students, and also I think the students, having student voice involved in that conversation is important, and reinforcing the ways that they can do that respectfully and that limit the disruptions on the educational process are also very important.
Absolutely, and they did a nice job of that. It's one of the things they wanted to make sure that they were taking the least amount of time out of class to have their voice heard, but at the same time being mindful of what we do in our school also.
Yeah, excellent. And I know that parents have this on their mind too. When they send their child to school, no matter how old the child is, from preschool up to kindergarten, they want to know that that student is going to be safe during the day. Are there some things that parents can be doing and thinking about to help with that school safety effort and talking to their kids about?
Absolutely. I think it would be a great opportunity to sit down at a meal at night with her mom and dad to talk about what we do for Alice. What does Alice mean in our high school for a student? What are the things we've talked to them about changing? And also, if they're concerned about safety in the building, come in and talk to us. It was always a great opportunity for us to sit down and give more information to them. One of the things they can also do, we have kids that have come to us and said that these things scare them. We make sure we sit down and hear them, but a lot of times they want to have those continued conversations. So we talk with counselors, get them the support to make them feel that we're supporting them and that we are a safe place to be, and how can we continue to work with them to make them feel that when they're in school that it is safe and that they're going to be okay.
I think that's an important part of our steps in ensuring a safe atmosphere for students is making sure that students know that if there is something that they're concerned about, if they hear a classmate mention something or know that there's a classmate that's going through a tough time, knowing that there's adults who can help them with that and knowing how to access those people. Are there some things that are happening in the high school to encourage students to make sure that they're having those conversations.
When we started our school year out, we talked in our class meetings with each grade level is, hey, if you have questions or you're concerned about yourself or another person, please come to one of us, because we most likely won't know unless they've come to us. We've had a large group of students this year who have done a nice job of supporting each other and themselves, coming down and offering those opportunities to give us information so we can pull students down and have those conversations, which has been nice because then the kids are like, hey, yep, you do understand, you're very supportive and things like that. So giving them the opportunity to hear that hearing their voice is important has offered them the opportunity to really come down and talk to us.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Another thing that I think that we do really well is being proactive with mental health support for students. If students are struggling with issues involving mental health, we've incorporated some really great programs around how to get students that help so that someone doesn't get to the point where they feel that they have to lash out at others. You also mentioned earlier that when you were talking about the ALICE training, the school resource officer, and I know that we have a school resource officer in our district and safety specialists. Can you share in our last minute or so here information about what role they play in helping ensure school safety? Because I know that the intruders in the school or school shootings are kind of common thoughts when people talk about school safety, but there's also a lot more to school safety than that.
When we did our training for ALICE, our safety specialist, one of them went with us, and our SRO went with us also. So they were both at the trainings. So when we came back, we've talked, and we continue to have the conversations of what their role is going to be continually going in on our trainings in the building. One of the things we really work on is our officers out now, and tries to get out during lunch, trying to get out during the real busy times during the school day. Our safety specialists take turns being in we have the area where you can't get in because we're locked.
Yep.
And the other one's out walking around. We're trying to make sure we're in all parts of the building, checking in doors, being visible, and making sure that if you do have concerns that there's an adult that they can come to. And they've done a really nice job, especially the safety specialists, of being out and building relationships with kids, which has helped us out a lot with concerns kids may have. They'll come up to them and then they'll bring them down to either myself or Dr. Lee or a counselor to talk to. So they've been very supportive.
Excellent. Yeah, we can't say enough about how important the work of all of the adults in our building is in ensuring school safety. From every single person that works for us or volunteers in all of our schools do a great job of working to make sure that all of our school buildings are safe places for students. So I want to thank Principal Anderson for joining us here on Making the Grade, and thank everyone for tuning in.